Greed is good, but the latest Ant-Man casting news is even better. Marvel has officially announced that Wall Street star Michael Douglas has joined the cast of the tiny superhero adventure. He'll play the brilliant and charismatic scientist Hank Pym, who in the comics is the first version of the Ant-Man hero. He's eventually succeeded by another Ant-Man, Scott Lang, who's already set to be played by Anchorman's Paul Rudd. Shooting begins soon. There's some even stranger Marvel casting news. Latino Review reports that the studio has had top-secret discussions with none other than Johnny Depp about starring in the Doctor Strange movie. Depp is apparently a big fan of the character, and he also has a good relationship with Marvel's parent company Disney, thanks to the success of the Pirates of the Caribbean films. It seems the talks are still early, so don't be surprised if they don't pan out. Doctor Strange is slated as a Marvel Phase 3 movie, which means it won't arrive until at least 2016 or 2017. And the Marvel Cinematic Universe is adding a new face on the small screen. Terminator, True Lies, Aliens, and Two Gun star Bill Paxton is going to appear in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's according to the show's creator Joss Whedon, who tells TV Guide that Paxton is set to appear in a multi-episode arc as Agent John Garrett. The character first appeared in the Elektra comics back in the 1980s. He starts out as a normal human agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., but eventually suffers a serious injury and is forced to receive cybernetic enhancements in order to survive. Hopefully this means Paxton will have a long future in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a human-robot hybrid, because everything could use more Paxton. His first episode is set to air in late February or early March. Now over to the DC Universe, the Justice League might join forces sooner than you think. Warner Brothers is rumored to be considering the possibility of shooting the Justice League movie back-to-back with the Man of Steel sequel, which will unite Superman and Batman. This would allow the studio to release the films just a year apart, so Justice League could be ready for summer 2016 instead of 2017 as originally expected. If the two films do shoot back-to-back, expect the first one to end with a cliffhanger, which will be resolved at the start of Justice League. And if you're like Victor and just can't wait for Batman, the Caped Crusader is also returning to the small screen, sort of. A young Bruce Wayne will appear on the new detective TV series Gotham, which will focus on the early police years of Commissioner Gordon. Don't expect young Master Bruce to become Batman right away. Audiences will likely have to wait at least a few years, similar to Clark Kent on Smallville.
Not yet.
Virtual mayors everywhere will soon be able to govern their cities and towns offline. EA has announced that the new SimCity is doing away with its mandatory internet connection. When the game launched last year, many gamers were angry that EA forced them to be online all the time, even during the single-player mode. This caused massive server overloads that made the game unplayable during its first few weeks. Other publishers have implemented similar online requirements for their games, saying that they help combat piracy, but they remain unpopular. This isn't the only good news for SimCity fans. For the first time, EA has begun allowing official mods for the game. This means users will be able to change and alter SimCity to their heart's content, but keep in mind that EA says it will maintain the right to use, copy, and even sell your creations without your consent. Some of the biggest games allow fan mods, and some of them have even spawned their own franchises. Another big fantasy franchise is making the leap from tabletops to the big screen. According to The Hollywood Reporter, 20th Century Fox has picked up the big screen rights to Magic: The Gathering, the popular fantasy trading card game. There have already been several Magic spin-offs like comics and video games, all of them revolving around an epic battle between different wizards and magical creatures. The studio plans to create an entire series of Magic films, and if they play their cards right, they could have the same kind of success that rivals have had with franchises like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. The project is being overseen by producer Simon Kinberg, who has also worked on the X-Men series and Star Wars Episode 7. Xbox One gamers are going to have to wait a little longer to start making their own games with Project Spark. The Xbox One beta test for the new game has been pushed back to next month. It was expected to begin this month, and it's already begun on the PC. Project Spark is a game that allows players to design their own games and other content, similar to Sony's Little Big Planet series. You'll be able to share your creations with friends, and best of all, everything will be compatible on the PC and console versions, no matter where it was made in the first place. The final version of Project Spark is expected to arrive later this year. It's been more than 4 years since 24 went off the air, and now Jack Bauer is finally set to return. Fox has announced that the new limited series, 24 Live Another Day, will premiere on Monday, May 5th. Kiefer Sutherland returns as the iconic counter-terrorism agent Jack Bauer, who travels to London in a bid to thwart an impending attack. Like the original series, the new season will chronicle the events of a single day, but since there will only be 12 episodes, the story will need to jump ahead at times. This isn't the only new 24 on the way. Kiefer Sutherland says that he, the producers, and Fox are still interested in making a big-screen 24 movie, but it remains to be seen if it will get a green light.
You gotta promise me that you will see this through and that you will do exactly what I say.